Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you. That's depending where you are in the world. We're doing the nighttime devotion from the devotional Maranatha. The title today, Sanctification, is for Sabbath keepers. Exodus 28-10. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. The seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work. God has declared in his word that the seventh day is a sign between him and his chosen people, a sign of their loyalty. The seventh day is God's chosen day. He has not left this matter to be remodeled by any priest or ruler. It is of too great importance to be left to human judgment. God saw that men would study their own convenience and choose a day best suited to their inclinations, a day bearing no divine authority, and he stated plainly that the Sabbath day is the Sabbath of the Lord. Every man in God's world is under the laws of his government. God has placed the Sabbath in the bosom of the Decalogue and has made it the criterion of obedience. Through it, we may learn of his power as displayed in his works and his word. Men could not place themselves more decidedly in opposition to God's work and to his law than by holding or by upholding a day that is without one evidence of sanctity and professing to worship him on that day. Those who have corrupted the law by substituting a false Sabbath for the holy Sabbath of God, and who compel the observance of this false Sabbath, exalt themselves above God and honor the spurious above the genuine. Sanctification is claimed by professed Christians who ignore God's holy rest day for a spurious Sabbath. But God declares that the sanctification coming from him is bestowed on those only who honor him by obeying his commands. The sanctification claimed by those who continue in transgression is a spurious sanctification. Thus, the religious world is deceived by the enemy of God and man. Men have sought out many inventions. They've taken a common day upon which God has placed no sanctity and have clothed it with the sacred prerogatives. They've declared it to be a holy day, but this does not give it a vestige of sanctity. They dishonor God by accepting human institutions and presenting to the world as the Christian Sabbath a day which has no "Thus saith the Lord" for its authority. That title again, Sanctification, is for Sabbath keepers. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a fair few churches that keep the Sabbath. I know of a Baptist church. Now these are more independent churches, a Baptist church, a Presbyterian church, of course this Seventh-day Adventist church. Then you've got the Jewish synagogues, and there are others as well. But I think the biggest institutions would be the Jews, and the Seventh-day Adventists known to actually keep the Sabbath. Now, the big difference between the Jews and the Seventh-day Adventists is the Jews don't recognize Jesus came when he did, and they are waiting for the Messiah to come, as are we. But they're waiting for him to come the first time, whereas we're waiting for him to come to take us. The seventh day is what we would call Saturday. Now, for anyone who might question that, it's quite easy to prove in the Bible. If we remember, Christ died on the cross on Friday, what the Catholics are called Good Friday. Then there's called Easter Saturday. And then we know him to have risen on Easter Sunday. So Friday in the Bible is known as Preparation Day. Saturday is known as the Sabbath. Sunday is known as the first day of the week. If you go to Luke 23 near the end, where the women go to the tomb, it does say they took the body down of Christ from the cross on the day of preparation because the Sabbath drew on. So they wanted to lay him to rest and then all go and prepare for Sabbath. Then they all rested on the Sabbath. And then it says the next day, on the first day of the week in the morning, the women ran to the tomb. Now we all know the women went to the tomb on the Sunday morning. Is what we would call Sunday. The Bible calls it the first day of the week. Go and have a look. Luke 23, and I think from verse 53, somewhere like that. And it goes into 24. So that's how the Bible proves Friday to be preparation day, the Saturday to be the Sabbath, Sunday is the first day of the week. Then we can look at how calendars have been changed. We had the Julian calendar and the Gregorian calendar, etc., etc. I can't question what I don't know. I can only go by what I do know. And that is that we operate on a 7-day week, Sunday to Sabbath. Back in the day with Moses, Abraham, they operated by the lunar cycle, which was on the cycle of the moon, which was a full 28 days. Or as they then changed to 30. But it was the cycle of the moon they used to go by, so they didn't have days of the week per se. So it's kind of complicated, but all we can go by is being obedient to what we know to be God's law. The fourth commandment, keep the Sabbath day holy. If you know differently, then you keep that Sabbath that you think to know differently, because God knows if you're being obedient, you will keep the Sabbath that you know to be the Sabbath by the Bible. Now, the only way that can be different is if it's not Saturday. It's definitely not Sunday. Sunday is definitely the first day of the week. I think I've just complicated that. So let's just stick to Sabbath being the Saturday, or Saturday being the Sabbath, I should say. One other thing, the Sabbath is the seal, contains the seal of God. Because in the commandment it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. In 6 days, our Father, Yahweh, his name, created, his title, the Creator, He created the heavens and the earth, his dominion. Every seal has a name, a title, and a dominion. King Charles of Great Britain, that's his dominion. His king is his title, Charles is his name. Remember the Sabbath day. In 6 days, God, Yahweh, created the heavens and the earth. Everything is his dominion. Remember the Sabbath day. Keep it holy. If you don't understand still, drop me a comment. It's not a problem. I'm happy to help.